Ellie from the Dark Imp, helping parents reclaim family time by playing board games together. So today I'm going to show you two roll and write games. Well, one's roll and write, one's flip and write. I like these games because there's usually lots of things for everybody to do, or like in everybody's turn. So starting with Smoothies. This is a new game where you're creating smoothies in two different blenders. Your blenders are the box. So you've got, it's really clever, the box lid and the rest of the box. They're two different blenders, the square one and the circular one. And your smoothie ingredients are the dice. You have 7 different coloured dice, and on each turn the active player is going to throw these dice, sort of launch them above the two, and some of them will go into one blender and some of them will go into the other blender. The active player gets to choose which of the two blenders she's going to use. And so, for example, if she chooses this blender, this has got 3 dice in it, and she's going to then cross off, and this is really important, she's going to cross off 3 boxes on the blender, on the row that corresponds to that blender. So you can see at the bottom, everybody's got one of these. This is your sort of tracking sheet where you're going to write everything down. And when you choose a blender, or when it's your turn, when you're the active player, you're going to cross off the number of dice that are rolled into that blender. So if I choose the round one in this instance, I'm going to cross off 3 boxes. If I choose the square one here, I'm going to cross off 4 boxes, because 4 of those dice went into the square one. This is important because as soon as you get up to the grey zone here, you can no longer use that blender. When both of your rows, your blenders, are into the grey zone, you can no longer be the active player. So you can just do the passive actions from then until the end of the game. So what are you going to do with these dice? Well, let's say I'm choosing this blender. I've crossed off 3 boxes along the bottom here in the corresponding row, and then I'm going to look and see what, well, I probably would have already looked, but I'm going to look now and see what I've got. I've got 3 dice. I've got orange, green and yellow, and the total of these dice is 8. And so in the 8 column on my little score sheet, and you can see all these different columns there, 2 all the way up to 14. In the 8 column, which is just here, I'm going to cross off the boxes on the same colour lines as the dice that I've got. So I'm going to cross off those 8 boxes in yellow, green and orange, which is really nice. Brilliant. I'm going to do that. That's excellent. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use as many of the same coloured dice as I can during the game. In a 2-player game, for example, if I manage to use the yellow dice more than 6 times during the game, I'm going to start scoring points for it. So if I use it 7 times, I score 7 points for that dice. If I use the pink 8 times, I'll score 8 for it. But if I only use it 5 times, I'll score nothing. If I use it 6 times, I'll score nothing. In a 3- and 4-player game, you have to use them more for them to start scoring. So you're trying to go in places, you're trying to select the dice that will allow you to cross off boxes that give you, are more likely to allow you to score those rows. But also, some of the boxes give you other benefits. So you get benefits when you go onto a little star. And if you go onto a star, you can cross off one of the boxes orthogonally adjacent, so up or down, left or right to that box. Some of the others give you other bonuses. They allowed you to access other bonuses that can change the colour of the dice that you're recording, that can allow you to add or subtract values from the whole dice throw. And you can also get bonuses if you have the most in the yellow or the most in the orange out of everybody. In addition to that, if you get a total of 7 in your dice that you choose. So for example, here I've thrown 4 in here. I could choose to take it. I still have to cross off 4 boxes at the bottom on the square blender. I've always got to do that. But here I can choose. Look, I'll show you what these dice throws are. The total of these dice is 9. I could choose to take a 9 and cross off the red, the green, the purple. Is it green? Blue, turquoise. The red, the turquoise, the purple and the pink in the 9 column. Or I could say, actually, do you know what? I'm going to take just these two, the turquoise one and the red one, and I'm going to use it as a 7. 7s give you another bonus. So if you cross off things in a 7 column, then you're going to be able to cross off any, you'll get a bonus other thing that you can do. You can cross off something else. Same with the 14s, but you get a bonus 2 that you can cross off. So it's worth going for those because it gives you more crosses overall. So you're managing which smoothie machine you're taking. When you're not the active player, you can still choose. So let's say the active player has chosen this smoothie machine, and then as the passive player you can choose one dice from the other one. So if these are the dice in there, you can choose one of these. So you can take that number and you can cross it off on your sheet. So you can still do things even when it's not your turn, but you're restricted according to the choices that the active player is making. That is Smoothies. Secondly, we've got Trails of Tucana. I love this game. This is brilliant. Well, they're both good. This is really good. We've been playing this one a lot. In Trails of Tucana, each player gets their own sheet again, and it's an island. And this is a network building game. And this is a flip and write. So you've got a deck of cards instead of dice this time. You're going to shuffle them, and then each turn you're going to reveal 2. And the cards relate to different terrain types. So you can see here we've got forest and we've got mountain. Yeah, forest and mountain, or rocky quarry something. And they relate to the different kinds of terrain on the map. And so if you have that forest to mountain, you're going to draw a line from the centre of one of the forests to the centre of an adjacent mountain, for example. But you can do it anywhere on the board. So every time everybody plays, somebody flips, everybody takes that. So it could be water to desert, and you can take it between any desert and any water on the board. So what are you trying to do? Well, you see all these strange creatures in different places. We've got a sort of sea monster here, we've got a strange cat here, and we've got a toucan here. You're trying to connect these animals up to these circles around the edge. These are the villages around the edge. And if you connect one of those animals to a village, then you can access the bonus. And you tick off to say you've got that animal. If you manage to get the other animal, so there are 2 toucans, if you manage to get the other toucan connected to a different village, then you can tick off the second bonus. Whenever you tick off the second bonus in one of these creatures, or an obelisk and a book, they're not creatures, they're just special things. Whenever you tick the second one off, you not only get bonus points, but you get to draw a free line. So you can draw another line wherever you want. So the aim is that you're connecting these things to the villages. And you can connect multiple things in. So let me show you something that's already been filled in. So you can see you can connect multiple paths together. You can connect some creatures to other creatures, and that they all can all go to a village. So this is after 2 whole rounds. At the end of round 1, you're going to score how many you've got, your bonus points, and you're going to note it down here. And then you're going to carry on, you're going to shuffle the deck again, you're going to do the whole thing again. And then at the end of round 2, you're going to score this again, put it down here. There are other things that you can do though, there are other ways to score. All of these villages around the edge, they're going to be numbered, well, lettered, A, B, C, D and E. There's going to be 2 of each. And each game is going to be set up slightly differently. This shows you the random setup for this particular game. There are quite a few of these different ones. And each player is going to start in a different starting point and work clockwise. So every player will have a slightly different setup of the board. And what you're going to try and do is you're going to try and connect your D village to your other D village, and your A village to your other A village. And if you're the first player to do that, you manage to get some bonus points, which you will mark down in this section. But if you do it, even if someone else has done it, you're still going to get these bonus points. And these are quite high, these bonus points. You get 14 points for connecting A to A, for example. So at the end of the game, you're going to count up how many bonuses you've got in the first round and the second round. You're going to add up how many A to A, B to B you've got. You're going to add up any bonuses, and that's going to give you a total. If you've got the highest total, you've won. This is the small island on this side. On the back, there's a big island that you could try. You go through the deck 3 times, and there's 3 of each of these icons to connect to each other. It's a lovely game. I really like it. Trails of Tucana.